Hey guys, it's Gina and welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be switching it up a little bit and I'm trying out a new hair routine using lighter hair products that I wouldn't typically go for my hair type. My hair type kind of leans more 3B, but I also have some 3A curl types in there. And if you're not familiar with curl types, you can just Google it, but there's tons of different curl types ranging from 2, A, B, and C to 3 to 4. Like I have pretty tight ringlets, but then sometimes on this area and up towards the root I have more of a looser curl pattern. So I wanted to kind of make a curly hair routine for those of you that have a looser curl texture than me or just want to switch up your look. In this video I also share tips on how to make your hair a little bit curlier if you do want tighter ringlets, and then also some ways that you can kind of tone down your curl pattern if you want them to appear looser. And it's a really great way to kind of change up your look if you get bored with your look. And I also switched my part to the other side, which is a really easy instant way to get more volume. So let's go ahead and get started with the routine. So I've already washed and deep conditioned my hair, and I do have videos on how to do this. I recommend checking out the How to Wash Curly Hair for Beginners video, because in that video I share the Naughty Wave Hello shampoo, which I think is a really great shampoo option from the drugstore. It's available at Ulta and Target, I think. But that is a really good option if you do have a lighter curl texture, because it really helps to give a deep cleanse to your hair, because if you have wavy or light curls, you definitely need to be using a shampoo to help cleanse away any buildup versus using like a co-wash, which can sometimes be too thick or weigh down at wavy curls. So I would recommend going in with that shampoo first, or just use a clarifying shampoo of your choice. And then deep conditioning, which I do have a video all about deep conditioning, and today I use the DevaCurl Melt into Moisture. So I do talk about that in that video, I believe, on deep conditioning, so you can check that out. I go into detail about different types of deep conditioners and how I do a really easy deep conditioning routine. So I've already rinsed out the deep conditioner, and that's the part we're at now. So I'm just taking my hair down out of my hair repair towel. If you don't already have one of these, you can use a cotton t-shirt, but I highly recommend this towel because it prevents frizz from happening and it's super absorbent and it's really big, opposed to a cotton t-shirt. It's kind of hard to wrap your hair in, and this is huge, so it definitely gives you a lot to work with. So I'm first gonna soak down my hair using a spray bottle, or you can just wet your hands, but I definitely recommend applying these products to soaking wet hair. That's a lot of mistake a lot of times people make. Even if you have wavy hair, it's really good to wet your hair down. You want it to be pretty wet when you go in with your products, not necessarily dripping, but it has to be pretty wet and not starting to dry. I'm first starting out with the DevaCurl B'Leave In, and now this is optional. You don't have to get all of these products, but I do really like the B'Leave In because it helps clump my curls together. I noticed such a huge difference when I stopped using this, and I couldn't figure out why my routines weren't coming out the same. And it was definitely from this product. I worked it back into my routine, and I've noticed a big difference in the curl clumps and the definition that I have. So I first apply that all over wet hair. After the B'Leave In, I'm going to apply the DevaCurl Wave Maker. Now this is similar to their styling cream or their super cream that you might be familiar with, but it's much lighter in texture. It has a different scent. And it's not as heavy for lighter curl texture, so this is not going to weigh down your roots or anything, and it's still going to provide the hydration and the curl definition, and I think it does help to tame frizz as well, but I still recommend pairing it with a gel. You don't have to use a gel if you like more of a lighter hold, but I love using a cream and a gel together. That's my favorite product combination. So I'm just applying pretty much a generous amount of this. I like to completely coat my hair with this from root to tip. If you're worried about your roots getting way down, you can skip applying it there, but I personally get a lot of frizz at my roots, so I like to apply it all over, and I don't have issues with my hair getting way down. So I'm just combing that all throughout my hair. And then I'm gonna flip my head over, and I really recommend doing this to get more volume. It helps tremendously to apply your products upside down, because as your curls are starting to form when they're wet, that's pretty much how they're going to lay when they're dried. So I like doing it upside down. And then I just take my Denman brush, and if you haven't already seen me talk about this, I love this brush so much because it's really great for not only distributing product throughout your hair, but also taming frizz, because it just smooths everything down and it helps you get really nice defined ringlets and curl clumps. So if you're trying to go for a tighter curl texture, I would highly recommend trying out this brush. If you're wanting to go with a looser texture though, then you might not use this because it is going to create ringlets and give you a pretty good definition. So I'm using this brush right now just to smooth all the product down and distribute it, and also tame the frizz. I'm prone to getting a lot of frizz and little tiny fairy knots, so by me combing the product through, that really helps to just smooth down my hair cuticle and make sure that product is completely covering it. So now I'm going to go in with the DevaCurl Light Defining Gel. So I typically go with a heavier hold gel. You guys know I love my strong hold gels, but since it is getting more into the fall and winter months, it's a lot less humid here in Virginia, so I can get away with using lighter curl products. And these products do all have glycerin in them, by the way, so that is good for the winter months, but you want to avoid those in really humid weather. So I typically steer away from DevaCurl in the summer, but I love using their products in the winter time. So I'm applying the Light Defining Gel. This is a soft hold, no crunch styler, so this is not gonna make your hair crunchy, although I definitely have a little bit of crunch to my hair right now, which is good because that means our hair is gonna last throughout the entire week and you can refresh easily. It's gonna hold up a lot longer, and you can always shake out the crunch and scrunch it once it's dry if you don't like that crunchy texture. But my hair still feels very soft. It just kind of feels like I might have a little bit of hairspray in. So I'm just smoothing this all over my hair, and I'm using a mixture of the praying hands method where you're kind of smoothing it down over the cuticle, and I'm also kind of raking it through my hair, and this is helping to break up those curl clumps, because if you have fine hair like me, or it's not very dense, like mine's pretty thin, I can't just leave these curl clumps or else it's gonna look like I have hardly any hair because it's all clumped together. So I highly recommend breaking those up with your hands, just kind of running your fingers through them to help break up those curls a little bit. It's a lot easier to do this when your hair is wet versus waiting till it's dry. So I'm just kind of separating all those curls. This gives me tons of volume and keeps everything from staying all clumped into one big curl. So you can apply a little bit more gel if you need to, and definitely make sure your hands are wet when you do this, but now I'm ready to go in and scrunch my hair. You definitely want to make sure that you're hearing that squishy wet sound when you're scrunching your hair. That means you have enough water in your hair. If you don't hear this, then go ahead and add some water and a little bit more product, because you definitely want your hair to be very wet. So I'm going through and just scrunching everything with my hands. Be gentle, don't squeeze too hard because you don't want to cause any breakage, but scrunching makes the world of difference, especially if you have wavy hair, to give you lots of good curl definition. After I'm done scrunching, I'm going to take my hair repair towel and actually scrunch with this. Now this is definitely a game changer with using this as opposed to a towel. You definitely don't want to use a towel when you do this. You could use a t-shirt, like I said, just make sure it is flat, doesn't have any fibers, so it's not going to cause any frizz. The hair repair towel though absorbs so much water, so I don't have to plop or anything. I can go right in and diffuse after I use this because I'm absorbing all that excess water. If you wanted to skip scrunching, or if you wanted to wait to diffuse, you could plop your hair up on top of your head with this towel and just kind of wait like 30 minutes or so before you diffuse. Or you could just scrunch with this and then just wait and air dry. I know a lot of people that have wavy curly hair like to just air dry because they might find that diffusing causes frizz or it just disturbs the curl pattern too much. So if that is the case, then more power to you. It's better to not use that heat on your hair, but I personally find that I need to diffuse my hair dry or else I look like a wet rat. So after I am done scrunching, I like to go in with a little bit more gel on my hands. I like using this method just to really tame the frizz, especially in those really frizzy areas. Like for me, that's the front pieces on the ends, because those pieces for me are pretty damaged. They've been highlighted in the past and I'm trying to grow them out. So I definitely have to apply a little bit more product to those areas that tend to get dry, or you can apply more cream if you find that your ends get dry once your hair is dried. So now for my diffuser, this is just an Irresistible Me hair dryer, and I have a Croc diffuser attachment. This diffuser attachment is universal, it's from Amazon. I'm not totally attached to this dryer, but any hair dryer will do as long as it has a low airflow setting and a very low heat setting. You want to use as little heat and air as possible, that way you don't blow your curls all over the place and cause frizz and disturb that curl pattern. And I love diffusers like this that have the long teeth on them because I like putting those right at my root and creating volume with them. So I really recommend this type as opposed to the traditional bowl diffuser that you see where the teeth sit down in the bowl. Those, it's kind of hard to get at your root with them. So I like to first flip my head over and then go in and scrunch my hair up to diffuse. If you don't like diffusing your hair or you find that it causes too much frizz, you can try just kind of hovering around your head with the diffuser. This is similar to if you were sitting under like a dryer hood or something, to where you're just getting heat on your head lightly to help dry your hair, but you're not disturbing your curls. So I would recommend that to try out. I did a little bit of that because when I'm scrunching my hair up, I get pretty tight curls that way. So I wanted to have a little bit of a looser look. So that is one way that I did change up my routine, is I didn't do quite as much scrunching with my diffuser as I was drying, just to kind of help elongate the curls a little bit. I also always flip my head over and diffuse underneath because this area always tends to hang down lower for me and it's not going to be even if I just stay upside down. So if you have that issue where the underside layer is a lot looser and not as curly, I definitely recommend coming upright and diffusing that way and just holding your dryer underneath and kind of scrunching those curls up if you have that problem. So now that my hair is pretty much all the way dry, I'm gonna switch it to the cold setting and go around my head with the cold setting. You can also put this right at your roots to help give you some more volume and kind of push it up a little bit. I like to always do a finishing touch with that just to give me a little bit extra volume and help cool off the roots as well. So now that I'm done diffusing, I like to just take a little bit more of my gel and go around and touch up any areas that got frizzy. It wasn't too bad, but I just had a little bit of frizz around the crown area and also some on the ends, so I just kind of smooth that over the frizz. My hands are dry and I don't add any water usually when I do this. I'll just kind of smooth some extra gel over those frizzy areas. So once my hair is totally dry and set, then I usually go in and fluff it. You don't have to do this, but again, it does help give you volume. It helps pull the hair away from your root because a lot of times it can get stuck down. And it also helps break up curl clumps and help shake out that crunch. So if you don't like all that crunch in your hair, you can scrunch your hair with dry hands. Make sure they're not sticky or anything because that will just cause frizz. Make sure they're dry and you can go around and just scrunch your hair, or you can just fluff at the roots. So I just shake out my roots and that gives me a lot of volume. I can also do this throughout the day to help give me some more volume and just make sure that your hair is not like stuck down to your roots, or else it might look a little bit flat. So that is the completed look. I really like how it turned out. It definitely gave me a lot of volume with switching up my part. I'm not used to having my part on this side. It feels so weird. And I definitely have like the gray patch right there, which I normally cover up, but I'm just going with it. Recommend just rocking it if you have that issue, and especially like it gives my hair more volume, so I'm not even worried about the gray showing. I'm just gonna go with it. But what do you think? Do you guys like it more parted on this side? If you don't know what my hair normally looks like, you can check out my other videos. I normally have it parted on the other side, and I normally go with a really tight defined, more stronger hold look. I'm always trying to get my hair curlier and stuff. So I have lots of tips that I've shared in my videos about how to make your curl texture a little bit tighter, and I also have a video on how to make your hair curlier that I will link down below if you want to learn more about that. So if y'all have any tips on how you like to switch up your routine and not get bored with your hair, definitely let us know in the comments down below. I will link all of these products that I used on the blog post that goes with this video, and if you click the first link in the description box, it will take you over to there, and I have a full list of products and the tools that I use and all that kind of stuff. And if you're not already following me on Instagram and TikTok, I will put my handles down below. I've been posting lots of quick little hair routines and tips over there, so usually when I'm washing my hair midweek is when I will share over there. So I've been talking about a lot of different products and different routines and techniques that I haven't shared yet here on YouTube, so hope to see you over there. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you subscribe if you haven't already, and I will talk to you next week. Bye everyone.